Yo, Still Mills, what's the diz here, man? We gonna dive right into this shit, man. Just a little peep game, man. The thing is, when you push a narrative, man, that's not etched in truth, it comes back and it eventually bites you in the ass. So, when Canelo gave out this info that he was gonna move up to cruiserweight and rumble with Makabu, everybody and their mama had an issue with him doing that. I wasn't particularly in favor of him doing that because I think there were better fights for him to have on Cinco de Mayo and on Mexican Independence Day. He can spend this year fighting the three fighters that people have been proclaiming for that he's been ducking for years. That should be his goal this year. And then next year, if he goes undefeated, this year, move up and deal with the cats at light heavyweight. That's what I think he should do. So I wasn't too favorable of the fight, but I didn't have an issue with it because I'm like, it's legacy defining. Not necessarily that Makabu is that dude or nothing, but it's just the fact that he shouldn't be able to move up to his fifth division, which is another 15 and 20 pounds past the limit that he's already fought at, well, past the highest weight division that he's fought at. He shouldn't be able to do, for him to go up there and win a legitimate bona fide champion and beat a bona fide champion is, it's an incredible feat. Even though I wasn't too favorable of it, I understood it. You dig? Like I said, I wanted to see him fight Charlo. I wanted to see him fight Benavidez, and I still want to see him fight Andre. So I got it, but it wasn't I'm like, hey, I understand it. I can't be mad at him. But this isn't a fight that I'm not necessarily asking for. But I do know when he did that, everybody and their mama had an issue with him doing that. And one of the names that they continue to bring up is Jermall Charlo. He ducking Charlo. He running from Charlo. He running from Charlo. He running from Charlo. All right, cool. So, who was it that let go of it? I can't remember. Was it? Rick Glacier has spoken on it. I think Hoppinger has spoken on it. That the likelihood of Charlo and Canelo fighting for Cinco de Mayo is highly likely, which is, to me, a better fight just because everybody has been wanting to see Charlo and Canelo fight. So, when that's announced, the discrediting campaign starts instantaneously, man, and it's this fucking Ahki TV dude, man. Oh my God, man. Yada, baby, get out of that water. I have a big disdain just in general with non-black people speaking on black issues. Because as you see, when you look at Ahki TV's views, the likes he has, maybe even the subs that he has, he may fuck around and do bigger numbers than a 78 Sports, a BFTB, Drew Titan, Trill Boxing Talk. He may even do bigger numbers than Boxing Ego. Cats who are like more pro PBC and push this, this black nationalist narrative from a boxing standpoint, which I have no issue with. I will never. I'm not, I would consider myself a nationalist to the best of my abilities because of who I'm choosing my wife to be. That's a contradiction in ideology according to most scholars. So that's a hat that I gotta wear. But to the best of my abilities, I would consider myself a black nationalist to the best of my abilities. So I don't see anything wrong with it. I just like it to be done out of a place of truth, and a lot of this shit it's a bit of truth on the surface, but when you dig beneath this, the pile of bullshit is masked by a slightly thin layer of truth. That's where it comes into play at with me. It's just a little bit more digestible from the 78 Sports and the Drew Titans and the LDBC cats. It's a lot more digestible with them because those are people who look like me. Ahki TV, I call him the Young Turks of boxing. You dig? Like the Young Turk. I don't. Okay, babies. I've been out of favor with the Young Turks for years. What do you want? Go get some ice cream. Go get ice cream and go get a lollipop. Go ahead. Go get ice cream and go get a lollipop. This little girl comes over. Yeah, go ahead. Go. But it was a point in time when I was first coming into certain truths as it pertained to black social issues that I would go and kind of seek information from them. I honestly would, man. But as you get deeper into truths, there's certain things that you begin to see that is like is very demonstrative, and it's very, it's a very covert sense of not necessarily racism, but bigotry, and that is. It's more digestible for a white person to talk about black issues than it is a black person. And because of that, black people kind of pander to this ideology like, oh man, it's a white person, like a white person talking about black issues and shit. We just want to be looked at as equal and the loving individuals that we are. We want to do everything that we can to show y'all that we mean y'all no harm. Here, get out of the camera. We mean y'all no harm. We want y'all to be our allies. We want all of this and that for y'all. We'll put y'all in high places in our social movements, our nationalist movements. We'll make y'all spokespersons and chairmen of the NAACP, even though it was a white person who made the NAACP to begin with. That's how it eventually becomes, and it's like, black people can't. What? Okay, go watch Ryan, baby. Go watch Ryan. What? This little girl's driving me crazy. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, man. I had to go do something for my daughter so she can quit driving me crazy. But like I was saying, man, when you allow outsiders to be spokespersons for your plight, that's all. It's a bigger. I don't even know how to really put it in the context, man. There's nothing wrong with what black people say as it pertains to black society and the ills of black society, but it's like it's highlighted and it's held in a certain level of revere when white people do it. Or outsiders do it, because we just want people to just be our friends. We're very immature politically. We're very immature, and we don't want to be in a place where, oh man, they was right about us. We don't want to come off as like separatists or whatever, or be the people who can speak for ourselves and not allow other motherfuckers to come in and be a part of what we got going on, and not only be a part of it, but be dominant forces from within it. I mean, shit, you go. I'm rambling, but I'm getting to a point. I remember, it's documentary, slave documentaries from the 80s and the 90s. And, you're talking about, I don't care if it was, something based on convict leasing. I don't care if it was based on the Underground Railroad or just real pivotal heroes and sheroes from within that time period. So I don't care if it's Gabriel Prosser, if it's Frederick Douglass, if it's Harriet Tubman, if it's Sojourner Truth, even the freedom fighters, post emancipation. You're talking about the Ida B. Wellses of the world, and the Martin Delaney's and people of that ilk. Anytime it would be a documentary on that, it would be white people speaking on it from a more intellectual standpoint. The only time it would be a black person on there is if it's a black person who went through that shit. I think the story. I think Emmett Till was another one. I think that's another one where it was. I think it was his mom on there and maybe another black person. I could be wrong, but I know it was a multitude of other white people who spoke on it. And they're the scholars that they're pulling people out of African American studies. All right, cool, you're a scholar, you're white. I want you to speak on this shit. You dig? And that shit right there is just very demonstrative in itself, because it's like, yo, this isn't their struggle, this is our struggle. You couldn't get somebody who looks like us to speak on our history. You know what I'm saying? So it comes off as extremely insidious when they get people to do that shit. When non-black people take on black problems and they make that the focal point of their content, it's coming it's coming from a real venomous place, because them motherfuckers, they profit a lot better because niggas want to hear non-black people speak on black issues because it's comforting to them. It's comforting to them. Oh, they get it. They want us. They down. Let's fight them to the, let's, he invited to the cookout. All that shit. You dig? So it brings me that brings me to Young Turk. Not to, why I say call him Young Turk. He's the Young Turk of boxing, but Ahki TV. My biggest issue with him is what I just said, man. With the as far as it pertains to him speaking on black fighters, we do not need representation outside of our community until we get our community on one accord and with some sort of unison where we don't have to all be on we're all Pan-Africanists, we're all Hebrew Israelite, we're all Muslim Islam, we're all whatever, we're all separatists, we're all this. It doesn't have to be like that. You're gonna have people are gonna follow different ideologies, but y'all can still have a similar common goal. Until we're at a place where we're that much more connected despite our differences of opinion and ideology, then we don't need anybody else coming into the mix and kind of causing some sort of distraction and disharmony amongst the people who already aren't codified they goddamn selves. We don't need it. So when you look at a nigga like Ahki TV, when he speaks on all his content is black fighters, Canelo was ducking black fighters. I like, yo, man, just go the fuck on somewhere. I don't like that shit, man. And he gets drag amounts of views when he does it. Dante, I think he's under Dante's Boxing Nation, you dig? Let Dante speak on that. There's nothing wrong with speaking on certain truths, but when that's the focal point of your content, it becomes really disingenuous. Because we're not trained as a people to say, it's not your fight, dog. When someone gets to talking about our issues, we like gravitate towards that and we're just welcoming of it, and we just motherfuckers is drooling at the mouth. Don't let it be no nice looking white chick, because it's that, it's 10 times worse. So we're not in a place to where we can have outside representation and still say, all right, you can be a spokesperson in this element right here, but there's certain lines you can't go across. We're not disciplined enough for that yet. And motherfuckers who aren't disciplined in that realm, they gravitate towards cats like Ahki TV. Now, he is, this whole thing as it pertains to Canelo ducking black fighters, he's beating better black fighters than the cats that they claim that he's ducking. This isn't the punchline just yet. I'm building up to that. So, this whole he's ducking black fighters thing. I've said it before about Ahki TV. I'm not letting nobody, and I'm arguing with somebody on Facebook right now. I'm not letting nobody violate and disrespect Danny Jacobs to big up Jamal Charlo. I'm not doing it. When Danny Jacobs is far more accomplished than Jamal Charlo, I'm not allowing you to disrespect Danny Jacobs. I'm not doing it. He's one of my favorite fighters anyway. I'm not doing that. Just on GP, like, bro, how my nigga beat cancer and went on a rampage, a legitimate rampage. Caught 2 titles, lost them, but he caught them. 2-time world champion, lost to Golovkin, lost to Canelo. Those were the juggernauts of the division at the time. And Danny Jacobs was right under them. His resume and his accomplishments and his skill set alone sets him far apart from Jamal Charlo, sets him far apart from Demetrius Andre. Now, granted, they're multi-division champions. Yeah, most definitely. They are that. And I won't take that away from them, man. I won't. But, the cats was catching vacant straps as well. And their defenses are against not the best opposition available. I know Andre wants to fight Charlo, but and he's being deemed as a boogeyman, but a lot of his shit is his fault. He's in a position that he's in now, and that's his fault. If you would have fought Lara, if you wouldn't have pulled out the Jermell Charlo fight, it's only so long you can go on the Billy Joe Saunders pulling out, popping dirty. It's only so long you can go on that. It's only so long you can go about Canelo talking. He's ducked me in 2 different weight divisions when there's sources coming out there saying you was in the scope. Had they got that Derevianchenko fight over the line, you was in the scope. Let's get this undisputed thing going. He got stripped. I ain't fucking with y'all no more. I'm moving up. I'm outie. Easier for him to make the weight. And as we see, the power is greater at 168 pounds. So, this narrative, the narrative, it indirectly discredits Danny Jacobs and all that he's done within the sport. And I'm not having that. I'm not like anybody who says Charlo is better than Danny Jacobs. You're gonna hear my voice. You're gonna hear my voice if you say Laura, not Laura, but Andre is better. And that's another fight. He ducked Laura as well. No, I don't want to fight Laura. Give me Jack Koke. When Laura had the belt, a lot of this shit is his fault, man. Like, it's his fault. Talking about Andre. So the point of this video is this. After Canelo Alvarez, when it was announced that he was moving up to fight Lunga Makabu, I know for a fact Ahki TV had something to say. I listened to his video, and y'all, man, you know, he's ducking the black fighters. You know, we want to see him fight Charlo. We want to see him fight Andre. We want to see him fight this. We want to see him fight that, and yada, yada, yada. So when the negotiations when the negotiations are allegedly in the works, and it's looking like Charlo was the likely candidate for the, you know, Cinco de Mayo week. Here he comes with the Canelo only wants to fight people after their worst performance. So now we're going into discrediting Jamal Charlo in order just to further lambast Canelo Alvarez. And it's just like, yo, you just can't be serious. You can't win. The thing, Canelo fought 3 times in the year 2021. He fought 3 times. Yildirim, Saunders, and Caleb Plant to become undisputed. He fought 3 times. Jamal fought once. And if that was his worst performance, why couldn't he get another fight under his belt? Why, to show him in a better light? What was stopping him from getting another fight in 2021? He knew he wasn't getting that fight with Canelo last year because Canelo's mindset was fixated on going undisputed. So why? What convinced you that you was gonna get that fight, my nigga? You knew you wasn't in the scope for last year. You knew that. So what was hindering him from getting a second fight to really iron out the kinks that he had from the fight with Juan Montiel? There was nothing holding that man back. That nigga could have got a fight in and been good and been better to deal with the amount of resistance that he's going to meet against the Canelo Alvarez. There was nothing holding him back from fighting a second time. There was nothing. But he didn't want to fight. The fuck? So now that Canelo has finally said, yo, all right, cool, let's run that. Let's run that. Here motherfuckers come with the smear tactics, the smear campaign. It's just like, yo, you can't be serious right now. You can't be serious. And according to this man, Canelo he was losing the fight to fucking Caleb Plant. Before the knockout, he was losing. So by his standards and definition, that would be a pretty bad performance his goddamn self. That'd be a pretty bad performance his damn self. So the ends somewhat justify the means. I mean, that's how it seems to me. According to you, he was losing to Caleb Plant. According to you, he was losing to Caleb Plant. He was losing that fight to the knockout. So he looked just as bad as Charlo did as he cruised to a 12-round decision against Juan Montiel. So what's the problem? You know, this is why I say I don't like motherfuckers pushing narratives, and I don't like people being our spokesperson, because it comes from a place of disingenuousness. It does. Because the same motherfucker that you was just bigging up, now that the fight is on the line, you're going to discredit them before they even sign contracts. Before the fight is over the line, oh man, nah, he this, he that, and nah. No, we ain't. No, no. Sorry to tell y'all, but Charlo was never gonna be in a position to deal with Canelo Alvarez. But now that we here, you won't even. That was just my opinion. Like that's how I feel about it. But according to you, like you're gonna discredit this man before they even sign contracts. Oh man, Jamal Charlo was this. He'll knock out yada 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 and this and that and the third. But he didn't have the best performance against Montiel. I mean, I don't think it was a bad performance. I think it was prototypical Charlo. Whatever. He looked better against Derevianchenko. Yeah, he did. He looked better against Derevianchenko. But I didn't see anything different from Charlo between those two fights. And now that Canelo decided to put that man in the scope before we even get contract signed, he's discrediting Jamal Charlo. This dude I don't see how he has the subscriber base that he has. Like, you Negroes that's following this dude, y'all dudes is pathetic. Like, that shit is disgusting. This is bigger than boxing. This speaks to everybody wants to talk all this, this black empowerment shit on the mainly the blacks, black fight fans, which is beautiful to me, man. But we got to start exercising some form of discipline, and it starts in little situations like this. We don't need black representation, non-black representation as spokesmen. The black representation that we have politically ain't doing shit for us to begin with. We definitely don't need one in a fucking boxing arena who's getting more views than actual black content creators on YouTube by speaking on black issues when they speak the same shit. I don't know if 78 does the numbers that Ahki does unless he's interviewing like Deontay Wilder or something. Maybe he does. I don't know. I don't really follow them cats like that. I don't follow them brothers. I honestly don't. I honestly don't follow them brothers, man. I've explained it before, man. 9 times out of 10, I'm not following them. But that 10th time, and that 10th time being when Teofimo had all that, that nigga shit was flying up out of his mouth towards Devin Haney. I know who to go for to get I know who to go for to get that feeling I need, because they gonna have the same ideologies and opinions that I have. That's when I go and tune in them cats. That's when I tune in to Fred's barbershop conversation. Any other time, nah, my nigga. Like, we on 2 different sides of the spectrum. Got love for the brothers, but I can't fuck with y'all narrative. I can't, because I think it's not disgusting. It's beautiful, but it's really coming from a place of delusion. So can y'all please get this Arabic motherfucker up out of here? Get him out of our business. I can have a disagreement with my brothers. I can have a disagreement with Drew Titan and BFTB and 78 Sports and Trill Boxing Talk and Fred Barbershop Conversations and Boxing Ego and Dante's Cheeseburger Nation. Damn, I don't want to do that. Shout out to the IBFP, but Dante's Boxing Nation. I can have that disagreement with them as black men, because that is what I am. That is what I am. I don't need all the extras, man. I don't. I'm very much so comfortable enough in my politics from a social standpoint to where I don't need to conflate the two unless it's just a blatant violation that must be spoken on. Hence, Teofimo and Devin Haney. Teofimo Sr. and Jr. That's when it's time to come. All right, nah, man, you got the game fucked up on this one, homeboy. Now you got to hear me. We do not need Ahki TV speaking on our problems. We do not need Ahki TV being a vocal spokesperson on behalf of us. Huh? It worked? No. Okay. There's no more water. I gotta go get some more water. Yeah, more water. It's no more. I gotta go get some. But yeah, man, we do not need that. We don't need it. We don't need it. Baby, come on now. We do not need it, man. Them dudes do not mean us no.
Papi. Look at me.
I see, babies. We don't need cats like that around us, man. And I really wish you brothers would get some sort of discipline and be understanding of that. Be understanding of that. This dude is getting dozens of thousands of views and shit. And bro, why are you not talking about Amir Khan and motherfucking people who come from that, just that nation of people that that you're from? Why don't you go and talk about them? Why don't you speak on, Islamic fighters? And I don't want to say that because there's black fighters who are Islam as well. So maybe not. I don't want to turn this into a thing of religion, because that's not what it is. It's simply about respecting people's culture and nationality, man. And non-black people talking about black issues get more view. They get more traffic to their videos because niggas want to hear somebody non-black speak on black issues, because to us that's a sign of y'all being down and for the people, and they want to get y'all invite to the cookout. We're going out of our way to find some good white folks. We're going out of our way to find some good Latinos. We're going out of our way to find some good Asians, some Pacific Islanders, some Middle Easterns. We're going out of our way to find these people so we can invite them to the cookout. We need that from y'all, not to hate us. We need that so we can be, because we want to like y'all. We want to be around y'all. We want y'all to love us the way that we love y'all. That's the mind of most niggas. And because of that, it's easier to gravitate towards somebody that don't look like us, speaking like us. 9 times out of 10, the motherfuckers who speak like, who would say the shit that the likes of Ahki TV is saying, they would get shunned and, oh man, you hotep ass niggas, you woke niggas, you know what I'm saying, you this and that and the third ass niggas. They have the most to say about black people who come from that paradigm, but when it's somebody who's not black, it's met with all type of praises. No. What, baby? I see. Go show mommy. Jesus, this kid. Like I said, man, if you're gonna speak on black people's issues and you are not black, it should not be the focal point of your content. Young Turks get millions of views on YouTube. Millions of views. And the last time I went on there, it was not no black people talking about black issues. It was white people, and it was people who come from where Ahki comes from, his lineage. I ain't talking New York. I'm not talking New York City. It was people who come from his direct they were descendant of where he's descended from. I don't see black people on fucking on the Young Turks on their platform. I've never seen it. Of course, I'm not looking, so I could be wrong. But when I was looking, I didn't see it. I did not see it. If Ahki TV, no, I don't even. You shouldn't even be around. You honestly shouldn't. You honestly should not. Just nah, man. Just our issues is our issues. Our issues is our issues. But what you niggas don't understand is when y'all keep talking all this bullshit about Canelo was ducking black fighters, he's beat 2 black fighters who are better than the fighters that y'all proclaim that he's ducking. Which would mean y'all would discredit Danny Jacobs. Y'all sing all the praises for Erislandy Lara because Lara, oh man, he got a gift against Lara. I think Lara won the fight, I do. But I understand why Canelo won as well. So y'all ride the Lara wave, but y'all won't admit that he was a tad bit younger when he fought Lara. He was younger. He was still a pup when he fought Lara. He was a seasoned pup, but he was a pup. After Floyd beat him, he was still a pup. He didn't really begin to ascend until he fought Golovkin. That's when he started to come into his own. Even like after Cotto, I wouldn't say Cotto was his prime. He was getting there, but I don't think Cotto was his prime. Golovkin, especially Golovkin too, that's when he started to come into his own. So, you know, it's easy to hang on to Lara. Lara schooled him. He got a gift against Lara. All right, cool. I'm not mad at that because I think Lara won. But now when it's time to speak on Danny Jacobs just is just a non-factor because he lost. There was no controversy surrounding that fight as to who won it because Canelo had started to come into his own. He started to turn into the beast that we see today. And he's giving you different looks. He's going to tap back into how he looked against Danny Jacobs in front of Jermall Charlo. He couldn't do that with Saunders. He couldn't do that with Plant because Saunders and Plant have better feet than him. They're lighter on their feet. They're better on their feet. They're faster on their feet. They may not be better. I'll take that back. They didn't prove to be better. They proved to be where he couldn't fight off of the back foot with them. He couldn't fight at mid distance. Go get more. Go get more. He couldn't fight off. Okay, go ahead. He couldn't fight off of the back foot with Saunders. He couldn't fight off the back foot with Plant. He couldn't. He had to go out and find them. But he had to put himself in position to find them. Because they're fleet-footed fighters. That's not Canelo's game. Even when he fights off of the back foot, he's going to fight you around about mid-distance and walk you into traps. He's not going to pump two jabs. He's not going to punch on the go. Back up, back. Jabs, take a step back. Jab, 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 take a step back. That's not his game. He doesn't have the feet for it, and that's cool. So I think they have faster feet. Maybe not. I don't think they have better feet than them. They proved to not have better feet than them because they both got stopped. And they got the ring cut down violently between the two of them. So, all in all, man, all I'm saying is this, man. Get Ahki TV the fuck out of here. I got my daughter's toy from motherfucking McDonald's. Get Ahki TV the fuck out of here, bro. I don't want to see him. I don't want to hear nothing from him because it's just... I'm not even a Charlo fan, and it's disingenuous to sit there and discredit Jermall Charlo before he's even signed the contract. Don't talk about he had a bad performance, and now Canelo was, gung-ho to fight him when, according to you, Canelo was losing the fight until he stopped Caleb Plant. That would make them equally bad. That would make them equally bad. And even if he had... There's layers to it because here. No. It's layers to it because, as I said earlier, Canelo fought 3 times last year.
Why pop?
To Charlo's 1. Come on, baby, come on. There was nothing stopping. Charlo from getting in the ring for a second time. That's on him. So. It is what it is, man. If he goes in this, even if he was sharp, I just don't think it's nothing that he could do with a Canelo Alvarez. That's just me. But we're probably gonna get the best version of Jermall Charlo if they are fighting. And then what are you gonna say? Then if Jermall Charlo's if the shots he lands, if he lands at a higher connect percentage, he's a lot sharper on his counter punching. What are you gonna say then? Because by this time he's sharper than he looked against Juan Montiel. So how you gonna sit here and say, "Oh man, at that point, Juan Montiel is null and void." And the thing is, he dominated Juan Montiel. He dominated him. If he would have fought Charlo after he fought Matthew Korobov, would you be saying this? Because Matthew Korobov did way better than Juan Montiel. And y'all been clamoring for a Charlo and Canelo fight for I don't know how long. Stop letting everybody in. That's it. Anything that pertains to black society. I don't care if it's black culture, hip hop. We need to stop letting everybody in hip hop. Stop letting everybody be spokesmen for our struggle and our problems that we deal with as a people. We don't need no outside representation. Stop letting everybody in. We can have our friends on a personal level. I got plenty of non-black friends. My wife is Mexican and Guatemalan. I have plenty of black people that I deal with on a personal level that I love dearly. And you can't jump on them, in front of me, and think I'm not going to be involved in that. You feel me? But that's from a personal standpoint. I don't even take my wife to certain celebrations and meetings as it pertains to what goes on in my community, because that's not her place. We don't need nobody that don't look like us involved in our issues. We don't need that shit. Latinos are in the position that they are in politically and socially. They didn't have to align themselves with everybody else. They don't have to have white allies, Asian allies, black allies. No, they codified themselves. They got codified they goddamn selves and took a bag to Barack Obama. And because of that, you have them in the position that they are now, where they don't even have to be citizens, documented citizens in this country to vote. They're pushing that now. Non-citizens can vote. We're not talking about no black Caribbean, like no Haitians, no Jamaicans, and no Trinidadians, and none of that. We're not talking about them. Turks and Caicos, and no, we're not talking about them. We're not talking about the black immigrants that come over here from Africa, that come over here from from Europe. We're not talking about the Asians. It's gonna have an effect on them, most definitely. Actually, it may not, because they don't come over here as plentiful as non-citizens. The ones who come over here plentiful as non-citizens are the Mexicans and Central Americans. They didn't need alliances with motherfuckers in order to obtain to make the moves that they've made in society. They didn't need alliances with that. They needed to get codified themselves, and I salute them for that. I salute them for that. They taking shit over. They taking job markets over, bro. That's what they doing. They moving as a unit. That's what the fuck we need to be doing. And we're a far smaller demographic. If everybody else converts on our problems and our issues, they automatically thrust state problems into the forefront. Or they make it a black and brown issue. When it's not a black and brown issue, it's a black issue. You feel me? You see this picture right here? That's my wife. I'm more than, if we stay where we rock, if we stay rocking the way that we rock, I'm gonna die with this woman. You know, there's nothing that I'm willing to do about that. I apologize to my sisters, my aunts. Hey, I understand your plight. I get it. But unless something drastic happens, me and this motherfucker right here are gonna be rocking until we take our last breath, and that's just what it is. But that's on a personal level. Personal politics, you gotta keep them separate. I'm even teaching that to my kids. You can be spokespersons on behalf of your mestizo demographic and your black demographic, but you cannot conflate the two because they don't mix. There's similarities between the two communities, yes there is. But they're far ahead of us from a social and political standpoint. They're far ahead of us. Any little bit of thing that we've gotten in society, it bleeds over into other other communities within this soil. We have had nothing exclusively for us. Nothing. So we need to get to a point where we're disciplined enough to say, I got love for you. You are invited to my house. You're invited in my personal spaces, but I cannot allow you to be a part of this. That would include boxing for you niggas who just want to be the Khalid Muhammad of boxing. I love it. I do. But do it out of a place of truth and stop being so fucking inviting. Because when you being inviting, he doesn't know no better. He doesn't know no better. He doesn't know no better. To him, he's looking out. To him, he's looking out. I'm speaking up on behalf of the people. But in you speaking up on behalf of the people, you're also stepping on the toes of our people. I'm not about to let you disrespect Danny Jacobs. I'm not doing it. Even Lunga Makabu, that's my people. He's African. I'm African. That's my lineage. I'm an American-born African. I'm born here. My lineage goes back to this country, this continent, on them slave plantations. That is where my lineage goes to. But my ancestral homeland is Africa. So you're not about to sit here and disrespect Lunga Makabu. Not no Arab. I'm not having that. I'll deal with that from my people. They can say that shit. If we're keeping it within the confines of boxing, alright, word. Cool. Whatever. I ain't mad at that. But when you're pushing a certain narrative, the black man is the black man, that Lunga Makabu is a black man, and he's trying to tell us that Jamal Charlo is going to give him the same amount more resistance than the Lunga Makabu than the Jamal Charlo. How? They have the same fight. They fight practically the same. There's no special dimensions between the two of them. And he's bigger than Charlo. He fights 30 pounds above Charlo's weight. It's the same fighter. Fuck are you talking about? Fuck out of here. So that's my spill on it, man. I really wish y'all would get some discipline about yourselves and tell this dude shut the fuck up. As black men, black women, black fight fans, Ahki, shut the fuck up. Go on about your business. Go on about your business. Speak on boxing and speak on it from a genuine place. Speak on it from a genuine place. Because now you're disrespecting Charlo. And I'm not even a fan of the Charlos. Especially Jamal. But that's still my people at the end of the day. Go on about your business, please. We don't need non-black spokesmen in representation. Deuces.